back to my channel, guys. Today we're going to be starting a new series called Athlete's Corner. In this series, I'm going to teach you how to perform optimally on the field and use the gym as a tool to your advantage. So in today's video, we're going to cover why it's important to train in season and how to peak for a big competition. So let's get into it. When we're getting close to game day, it's important that our strength work is still basic movements that we're familiar with. We don't want to add in any new movements just to reduce the risk of creating too much soreness from a new stimulus while we're in season. So the day before a game, if you've never done a front squat and we've only goblet squatted, we're not going to front squat. We're going to keep that goblet squat, we're going to move it quick, we're going to lower our volume and just increase our intensity. For power and our movement patterning, I like to pair these two together. So before we do a power movement like a hip toss, you would do some kind of dowel hinge or 3D strap hinge just to get our body movement efficiency, and then we're going to explode through that same movement plane. We're going to focus on moving lightweight as quick as possible. So this is going to allow us to be a little bit more explosive than if we were using our normal weight that we use for plyometrics, and we're going to create a little bit more power and activate our fast twitch muscle fibers. So the focus of peaking for performance is limiting our eccentric loads. I like to incorporate lifts such as rack squats so that we don't really have an eccentric load, and we're going to have quick concentric movements. So that's great, and also doing deadlifts, but only doing the concentric portion, dropping the weight from the top, resetting, and doing another weight. We also utilize band resisted training, which is going to limit our eccentric loading. So when we don't have eccentric loading as a stimulus, it reduces fatigue and soreness a great amount. This way we can still get the adaptations from our concentric loading and also increase our power, strength, and performance on the field. We also want to focus on recovering optimally. If you come into the gym one day and you're feeling super fatigued, we're going to drop our volume back even further, because at the end of the day, you're coming to us because you want to be a better athlete, not because you care about deadlifting 405, or we're not training to be a power lifter. We're training so that you can throw your fastball the hardest the next day, or that you can jump the highest the next day, depending on your sport. Lifting in season is important to maintain the adaptations we gained in the off season. We work so hard in our off season to increase our power output, to get stronger, to be a better athlete. So why let that go to waste during the season? Our lifting may look a little bit different in season, so let me take you through how we change our programming in season. So during the season, our focus of our lifts is going to be speed, then strength. So this is going to mean we're going to have a lot of power-based movements and focus on moving weight fast. Our volume of these lifts are going to be a lot lower, and our intensity is going to be very high. So we can do the minimal effective volume to maintain our results. We're going to keep training very hard in season, but in order to decrease our soreness and make sure we're ready to go the next day to play our game, we're going to lower our volume all the way down to that minimal effective dosage. So our plyometric emphasis in season is going to be moderate volume, so nothing too crazy. You guys are already running around on the field, jumping, sprinting, all of those things, but we're also going to keep those at a high intensity. We're going to focus these plyos in the main movement plane of our sport. So for baseball and softball players, we're going to be in the rotational plane. For basketball players, we're going to be in the vertical plane. So these are the most common movements we perform on the field, on the court, wherever your sport is played. We're going to perform those same type of movements in the gym and mimic our on-field motions. So we're going to pair these explosive plyos with our main compounds, which is called post-activation potentiation. This is going to stimulate our central nervous system and light up our fast twitch muscle fibers so we get a little quicker, faster, and stronger on the field all in one. And again, we're doing this at a low volume to minimize our soreness and get the best results possible to get you ready for game day. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to peak for a competition. On game day, it is important for us to pattern our body. If we don't pattern our body correctly before we get into these explosive movements on the field, it puts us at a much greater risk for injury. It is also important that we do some kind of dynamic effort stretching, some kind of passive stretching to lengthen our muscles, and also make sure we're completely warmed up. If blood isn't flowing in our body and we get out on the court and we try to make a cut, it's very, very possible that we sustain an injury. So with all this, I hope you guys continue with your training during the season and can be a little bit smarter about it next time to make sure that you perform your very best on the field or on the court. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.